Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the True Beats Podcast. Muscle Bully Season 2, Episode 8. I hope everybody's doing all right tonight. If you're tapping in, make sure you hit that share button. If this is your first time tuning in, make sure you put them questions in that question mark at the bottom of the screen. And y'all get ready for a wonderful show. We got a special guest tonight. We're going to get the boys in here. There's one. There's two.
What's up, fellas?
What is going on?
I haven't talked to you in about 2 weeks, Raj.
That was at least 2 seconds ago.
What happened?
Me and Roger are actually talking about a lot about this weekend at the Masters at golf, and he's really big into golf, and so am I. And it's just an interesting conversation to have.
I thought we were talking about Daytona.
Oh, my bad.
What? Well, that was a weird conversation.
How'd that shit match up, right?
So if Zach and Roger seem pretty nervous tonight, it's because we have a very special guest.
Nervous. And, we are nervous.
I'll let Roger go ahead and do the introduction since he is his best friend in a way, and we'll go ahead and get this thing started.
Yeah, we buy Gucci for him all the time.
I know you do.
Ooh, shit.
That's a joke.
It's not a joke.
Oh, it's an inside joke. I guess you got to know, but
it's really not Gucci. It's Gucci and Louis and Dolce and Gabbana.
That's right.
Not to tell on you. Didn't get in trouble with
no.
Dina.
That's right.
I apologize, Dina.
Didn't Louis Vuitton just hire Pharrell? Pharrell just took over somebody's big position at Louis Vuitton.
That's interesting.
Is that right?
That's a good move.
I don't keep up on that.
It came across my feed.
My wife likes that shit, but I'm just like, I think a Carhartt jacket. I'm good with that.
I think I follow his page, Pharrell's page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roger wearing Carhartt. He's woke. He's so woke.
I don't know what that is. Like, no.
What woke is? It's when you wake up in the morning. It's when your alarm clock goes off and you get up.
Yeah. Someone forgot to tell me that that brand switched. Used to be just keep your ass warm is what that was.
It used to be.
Now they're like, if you fucking don't have a job, you fucking lift an iron, you can't wear that shit. It's like, what? You don't have a job? You can't wear that shit. You got to work outside and build a house to wear Carhartt. It's like, bro, that's the warmest shit out. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, so back to the regular scheduled program. Yeah. We have a very I would say a very important individual who can massively impact and influence, or who massively impacts and is very influential in the community, and who is a VP of is the biggest organization in the bully community, the ABKC. And
right.
I'm very excited about this. So let's go ahead and bring him on. And if you guys have any questions, put them in the question box, because I already know that we're going to have a boatload of questions tonight. If you have any personal shot questions, don't ask that dumb shit. We don't have time for it. Ask serious questions that can actually influence and move the needle forward for the community. We're not here to constantly rinse and repeat the dumb shit. So
that's right. And don't throw me under the bus.
I'm throwing you under the bus tonight, 100%, for sure. I'm fucking grabbing you by your fucking underwear and your fucking back of your collar, and I'm going to toss your ass under the bus. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he's in here.
Hey, what's going down?
What's up?
Nothing much. How y'all doing?
Good. How we doing?
Good.
Tonight.
Cannot complain.
Yeah,
Well, Roger had written down a complete diary of questions that he has for you, Coop, and I'm interested in hearing him, so we'll go ahead and let him jump off and go ahead and start this.
That's right. I left that list at home, but that's all right. We'll figure it out.
That's a good place for it, man.
We'll swing it.
Well, you want Zach to start with the whole so what got you into dogs? Did you raise pit bulls?
That's not what I say.
Yeah, it all starts the same shit, right?
I just ask everybody where it all started. That's it.
Yeah, where does it all start?
Yeah, where it all started.
Well, just go ahead. Start there. Let's just
let's
get that out of the way.
Oh, for me?
Yeah, for you. What got you into American Bullies, Mr. Coop?
Well, actually, my wife did.
Roger.
we got together in 2001,
Mm-hmm.
and she was already in the breeding pit bulls and blue pit bulls at the time, and so she got me into the bullies, and then I wanted to get into she wanted the blues, so I was like, we're looking around online and stuff, and looking at all the kennels and different stuff, and we found bullies, and we just had to have them. So we that's where it began, 2001. We got into bullies. Yeah, got my first bullies, and then got instantly into the. Well, first we were showing UKC,
Mm-hmm.
with our bully style pit bulls, and my first career was, and then I was in the Fox Den in South Florida, which was a club for showing in the UKC, so it all started there and went from there. We was down there. I was with Corio Kennels, George, everybody. Everybody was breeding back then. So,
what year was that?
2001.
2001, 2002, 3. I showed in the UKC up until around 2005 or 6.
Gotcha.
And then stopped. Started hosting my first show in the ABKC, 2005 with the EE. Around 2005, I joined in the EE. So, and then it took off differently from there,
You have a little bit.
For those that are tuned in that don't know what EE is, can you break that down for them? Explain what that is.
Elite Edge.
Yeah.
Back then, that was Dave. Everybody with the Elite Edge. So basically, Lumber, you was around those.
Damn you!
days.
Really? You gonna call me that?
Yeah.
You son of a bitch. Basically, EE was Death Row Records during Death Row Records time. They was the hottest shit on the block.
Yeah.
No, it was.
Yeah, it was the Houston shows. Everything took off. I went to the first ones in Florida, the Orlando show. Of course, we hosted the Palm Beach show, and then just everything kind of took off from there. I've been hosting ABKC shows since 2005.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it until many years later, but my dog was like the third dog ever registered in the ABKC, and I didn't even find out until like 3 years ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it. Deanna did a thing on Facebook of, to guess who the first top 5 dogs that were ever registered were, and one of mine ended up being their Preacher Man.
Wow.
All right. So, this isn't like trying to throw shots or anything, because I just, I just want to ask this question, because we're in the Lead Edge. What is the Lead Edge still around, or what's going like?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
For me, in 2009, I bought into the ABKC and became, part of the actual organization.
Yeah.
So, after that point, I stepped aside from breeding and pretty much, I did it for a couple of years, but, I stepped away from it at that point, and also from EE, because there was no reason for me to be in that. It was too political, and we were on a different side of the breed,
True.
No, I appreciate you answering that. Thank you, because I just really wanted to know, because when I think of American Bully, I do think of EE. I think Blow Jeans. I think Atomic Dog Magazine. I think of all that stuff. Well, those
are like the golden years. Right?
Yeah. Well, no, I think the golden years are still ahead of us, man. I do. I think. Yeah.
It's a different era, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Times have changed. Things got more professional. That was the beginning. And it was fun and it was hype and everything. But now it's in a new direction. We had to operate, on a different scale, become more professional, so we can be on a world stage.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I want to go deeper into that, but I'm gonna let the guys ask some questions. Ask some questions.
You always like going deep.
No, because he's taking me down memory lanes.
He goes deep as he can.
Okay, so from 2006, you said you bought in, you became part of ABKC. 2009. So from that point until here we are, 2023. Did you ever think that it would get this far? as big as it
Definitely,
is.
man.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah,
I mean, you just knew from the beginning the way it took off, the way everything was
I
going.
mean that's a lot of work, man.
The
This is
breed,
yeah,
knowing the breed and
yeah,
knowing how great the breed is and the American Bully and my love for the breed itself and everyone who meets the breed and gets to know the American Bully falls in love with it.
yeah,
So how could it not go so far? It was like it's the ultimate companion breed because it has the look and the muscular build and everything you love and like in a like pit bulls and people who like them type of breeds, but with the better temperament and better all around personality. So it's like,
yeah,
how could you not know that it was going to take off and that everybody wasn't going to love it?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
yeah,
we were in love with it. So
yeah.
So let's
No,
talk.
you're right. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the progression of the breed. So what did it look like in 2009, and then where did it really begin to change to what we're starting to see today as the American Bully?
well, you see the breed take changes and turns a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime there's popular dogs and dogs who get bred heavily, and breeds take on different looks and different styles. It's you have to see that over the years with different dogs, from Dax to you name it, things have taken turns. There was a time when Paco took a turn in the breed and
Yeah.
things, way back,
Mm-hmm.
and things went more pocket style and that movement began. But then there's been many movements and changes in the breed. You got a lot of dogs who shape the breed, so it's definitely changed a lot over the years,
Right.
but from 2009 to now, it's, I'd say it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's changed a lot in good and bad ways,
Right.
With that being said, how much further do you think it needs to be pushed further as far as extremities, size? Like what is the goal? I think that's the biggest question everybody comes to is like, how much are we going to
Like
push
when
it to?
you think of the American Bully, you first think of the standard class and the pocket class,
Yeah.
and you think of those varieties. When you think of the future of the breed, of course it's the standard class. The pocket's supposed to be like the standard but shorter. But those are the main varieties of the breed.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
key is to build consistency in those varieties, and of course the XL as well, and to have a consistent look. The classic class is always there. It's a tool, and it's always been a tool in the breed. But me personally, when I think of the future of the breed and the direction of the breed, of course I gravitate to the standard.
So when you're looking at the standard, and I agree with you 100%. How much do you feel? How challenging is it that the outside of the show ring doesn't influence the inside of the show ring towards the standards? You know what I'm saying? So, like for example, sometimes outside of the show ring, exaggerated features are more popular amongst social media, but doesn't really gear towards the actual standard and the vision of what the ABKC has. Does it make it very challenging?
Well, I think everyone loves an extreme dog.
Yeah.
People love the bullies. They love to see the extremities, but at the same time, you're looking for that balance. You're looking for a correct bully dog. Should the standard class be extreme? Yes. I think people twist what an extreme dog is.
Yeah.
They confuse it with the extreme class from years ago, which everyone acts like that just went away or something, but it's been gone for like 10, 11 years.
Yeah.
It's been gone a while.
A decade's not enough, man. A decade's not enough.
But the reason the extreme class went away is because it was just a lot of sloppy dogs in extreme class, and people were just going in there with dogs and trying to allow for flaws. When the reality is the breed is supposed to be extreme. It's a bully. It's supposed to. If you look at the standard, it's bulky. It has muscle mass. It has heavy bone. All the details of what this breed should be are in the standard.
So it's fair to say that you guys are trying to do the right thing, and you were. I mean, it's hard to be the tip of the spear because you're like, shit, we know we got to go a different direction. We're going to have to make this change. It's going to piss a lot of people off, but it's doing the right thing.
Yeah, well, we had to eliminate the extreme class because we're like, it has to be rolled into the standard. It is an extreme breed. It should be correct. and bully. It shouldn't allow for just flaws. You know, the ideal bully is a correct standard bully with the extreme features that are defined in the standard.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like it should have heavy bone. It should have, it should be correct. It's not saying that the dog should be, it should still be correct. It should have tight, straight fronts. It should still have everything that a dog should have. It should be balanced.
I agree.
It should be all that. But the ideal focus of everybody should be breeding for correct, extreme bullies that fit the standard. Or excels, or whatever it is. Right now, I mean, even with the classic is the American bully. It's also part of it, but it's part of it. It's the American bully. It's more of the bully of yesterday, but there's a lot of classics. There's a lot of very nice classics. Would you say majority dogs are classics? You've seen a lot of our standards get rolled into classic class. Yeah. Why? If they didn't, and some of them are bully and they're this and that, but they may be missing features. They don't have proper head type. They don't have proper heavy enough bone, etc. And now you see a lot of standard dogs that are regular or average standards trying to push into the classic class and be exceptional classics.
Yeah.
It's like, so it's kind of,
So do you think that do you think the classic class will ever be removed, or are you guys always going to keep it in there?
Right now, it's not scheduled to be removed.
Yeah.
Right now it's still considered, it's a part of the breed, and it's a major tool in the breed. Look, even my dog, probably half of my breedings have been to more classic style females. Everyone's still trying to breed their dogs to more extreme males or dogs with good, clean, correct bully males, but they're trying to create correct bully dogs to the standard. So
you're going to complete opposite. I got hung on a cross last week when I said, why should you do something like that? And Roger laughed at my face, and Zach laughed at my face, and so did Nico. You're like, why would you do something like that? But someone like you, who is the vice president of the ABKC, says that's a direction you should go.
Right.
Well, it's the reality is it was a tool for that purpose.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it the direction you should go? I mean, me personally, have I ever bred 4 classics? No, I've never done that.
Yeah.
I have never set out with the purpose in my last 22 years to create a class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
in all
does that mean
honesty,
that classics are bad or wrong?
I'm just giving them a hard time. I always say whatever, the opposite. You got to compliment the flaws, right?
If the dog wasn't bully enough, if it didn't, for me personally, I would pet home it. I didn't want to associate it with my kennel because I was creating bullies.
Right.
Roger pet homes all classics.
My whole goal, and that
Not
was
all.
my whole purpose was
Not females.
bullies, and I wanted to build consistency in my program.
Yeah.
So I only wanted to breed bullies, and I only wanted to breed bullies to bullies, and I only wanted my pedigree to be full of dogs that fit the type. If it didn't fit the breed type, I didn't want it in my program. That was it.
Well, I think we got the consensus.
That's a big part of consistency. I mean, if you want a consistent pedigree, you have to have consistency on top and bottom of every dog behind it, from males to females to everything. You can't sit there and with these scattered pedigrees with dogs all over the spectrum behind it. Then you're going to get the spectrum in front of it.
Yeah.
It's like you got to build consistency in your program. Right. And to me, that's what I always want to do. I wanted to have a very consistent program with consistent dogs. So if you like a classic, then you should breed the classics or stick to what you want to create.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you want to create standards, then you should push towards the standard and get a female to fit that variety and breed for the proper type.
You definitely have a valid point there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I think the majority of the judges we've interviewed so far are kind of along the same lines. They're just like the classics there, but it's just a breeding tool. Like I don't think they necessarily see it as the future of the breed.
Depends on how you look at it. I don't know. I mean, no one looks at it as the future of the breed because it's a classic. In other words, it is the type from yesterday.
Yeah, you know? I even asked last week.
When you think of moving forward, I mean, when Chevy brings back out a copy of the Stingray or reinvents the car, they don't make the same exact one.
Yeah,
you know?
they upgrade it. Yeah,
the new Corvette, is upgraded. You know, so when you think of the future, you never think of the same exact thing. You always think of something better and more consistent.
Let me ask you this while I got your attention. So when we're looking at the show ring, we're seeing the dogs in the ring. Should we be looking at those should we be looking at all the dogs as tools? Like they're all like we're basically displaying our breed stock versus displaying a finished product.
I mean, I don't think every dog's a tool, but what are you trying to
what are you asking?
Well, like I feel like, you know, some people look at it like, okay, this dog is a ring, that's the finished product. Like that's what we should be shooting for. But is that the case, or are we just at this point displaying?
Not just because it's in the ring. I mean, if you look at the top dogs, being in the ring, there's being in the ring, there's being a champion, there's being a grand champ, and then there's being a top dog.
Okay.
You know, which those top dogs, I'd say much greater represent the breed.
Yeah,
you know, you see more consistency in the top dogs, whereas it filters down, the consistency is less and less.
Right.
You know, so if you want to breed towards something, if you want to focus towards something, I would focus looking at the top dogs and the dog, because those are where you're really fitting the type, you know, and you're really narrowing it down to more the exact direction of the breed.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different perspective and angles from there, because some people might just be going there just trying to get experience and reps in the show ring.
Yeah,
just having a dog there.
Well, you know, there's in our community, more than anything, we have a lot of new people all the time. There's a lot of inexperienced people all the time, and they're coming in the ring for the first time, and that's where they're learning. You know, they're bringing the dogs in. They're learning how to show. They're learning about conformation. They're learning about type. They're learning about all these things. And you know, with our social media nowadays, you know, people, they come new in the community. They don't know who has knowledge, experience, and who doesn't. You know, they don't know.
Yeah.
And right now, you got everybody. You got a guy you just met last week for the first time at the show. And
he's an expert.
And he's an expert. He's on social media. He's going live every day, and he knows everything. But, you know, at the show last week, he was like, man, it's my first show, first time ever. And you're like, all right, man, you're showing him around. You're showing him, introducing him to everybody, showing him, you know, trying to get his feet wet. And, you know, next thing you know, he's online and he knows it all. You know, so I think a lot of people.
Don't sleep on my boy.
Don't sleep. Yeah. But, you know, because of that, you know, of course, it's a nonstop job to educate. It's a nonstop job to, you know, to welcome everyone in and try to steer everyone in the right direction, but also show them, you know, the flaws and the different things in the breed, and also show them the direction of the breed.
Yeah.
Well,
You know, so as a host, I have different hats. You know, I'm a host.
Yeah.
You know, but then ABKC, I have multiple different things.
Well, here's
so
the
I deal
thing.
with people on multiple different levels.
You guys are a business, right? And like you said, you constantly have new people in, and very successful businesses. Is that we feel like since we told it to 1,000 people that everybody knows it, but it's almost constantly you're repeating the same thing. You need to constantly repeat the same thing over again. And so a lot of people make the mistake by going, oh, well, I've said it once, or I said it twice, or I said it 1,000 times. That's not enough, because when you have 100,000, a million fucking people, million people registering, you know what I mean? Like and then everybody's so new, you know, like they haven't heard the shit.
Yeah.
I host, like, say in the Northeast in Allentown, I have 3 shows a year.
Yeah.
I have between 20 and 30% new booths every single show.
Fuck, man.
All right?
Yeah.
That's every single show. I mean, 3 shows a year. I have 20 to 30% new people in booths every single show, because I attract the new people that's coming in.
That says a lot, though. You got to think about that, because if you're saying you're getting 20 new %, 80% is, I don't know if you guys know this, but 80% retention it's fucking massively high. You know what I mean? Like I get excited, go, oh my God, we've retained 20% of our, of repeat customers.
You're talking a product.
Yeah.
You know, a product,
but still, that says a lot to you, though, as a contestant to you, that you put on a great product. I mean, Allentown is probably one of the top 2 or 3 shows that I hear about every single year. You go to Allentown, you go to Allentown.
Yeah.
So that says a lot. That attests to, your product.
Right.
Yes. I mean, we're right now 13 years running straight in Allentown. So, we've had 39 shows there,
Well, I'm going to be a booth at the next one.
You said, you said something about,
I remember that.
You said something about people learning when they get there. And there's a lot of truth to that, because I see a ton of new people that went out on the internet and they bought a dog and they really didn't know what they should have been buying. And then they come to a show for the first time. They put the show in the ring and they're trying to figure out how to do everything. And I think that's in the moment when they realize they didn't get the dog they needed to get.
I think that happens a lot.
Yeah.
And that's why there's also a high turnaround. You're always losing people. Every summer, everyone's on social media talking about everything's dying. But every summer, things slow down.
It's summer.
It slows down. It's summer. Kids are out of school. Everyone's vacationing and doing stuff. So it's like everything gets slow anyway. Slows down every summer, but also there's always a turnaround. You're always, losing people in the community. Breeding dogs ain't for everyone. When spouses and family members don't agree with the money spent and things happening, traveling, going to shows, doing all this other stuff.
Yeah, I think it would be hard to build culture, because it's hard to build, it's hard enough to build culture within inside of a business. It's hard enough I couldn't even imagine building culture amongst a registry, right? Where you have zero control over outside people and people are selling people dreams and shit like that. Like, this dog is a great dog, where someone like Roger, who has integrity, right? Who probably falls in line with the core values of the ABKC, goes, look, I'll pet home this dog before I sell it to somebody. And that has to become a massive challenge, right? Because
I think some of that, that comes with certain people. You have those who have been in it for the last 15 years and are still here, 20 years. And then you have those that turn around, then of course there's the people that have been in it 5 years. I think there's many different brackets. And, there's those who think ahead, like, I'm selling a product. I want this dog, as a breeder, you should be thinking first and foremost that I want this dog to go into someone's home and live a good life with low vet bills. I want it to live a healthy, long life. And my goal as a breeder is to breed a quality dog that's going to live a long, healthy life.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate goal, because when you buy a dog, you want a dog that's going to live as long as possible.
Yeah.
You're not going to have vet bills.
Well, you said at the beginning, it's the ultimate companion breed.
It's the
not the ultimate show breed. The ultimate companion breed, because not everybody goes to shows. Like, I don't go to shows, but fuck, dude, I own 2 American Bullies.
Exactly. American Bullies are in households everywhere. I mean, look, between the American Bullies, French Bulldogs, you name it, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, even traveling throughout the world, you wear an ABKC shirt, people recognize that logo in the airport and everything.
Yeah.
You got an American Bully, I got an American Bully.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the dogs alone. Like, I wear my shirts everywhere, and just like people will see, like, they see you once, they look. Like in the gym, I was just telling Stan, dude, see me once with a dog shirt, and then the next night he see me, he's like,
where do you say you wear them everywhere, Zach?
Not everywhere, but most of the time.
Everywhere. Roger, he said everywhere.
So what I'm
saying? I mean, I wear plaid everywhere.
When they see that shit, they're like, man, what is that? That doesn't look like a dog I've seen before. It's new, and they're like, oh shit, this is a like. So like I said, the dude see me once at the gym, and he looked at me kind of weird. And then the next night I had a dog shirt on again, and he was like, bro, do you like work with dogs or have a dog? Like, what's up with the shirt? And then I broke it down and explained to him. He was like, man, it's badass. So it's like, it's just that.
Dog shirts, all right?
Yeah.
Everybody's got a shirt with bullies on it from Bully Supplies, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
They got it all over the place, worldwide. So,
and that's another thing too, is like a lot of people, I mean, the American Bully has changed a lot of households and a lot of like people's lives financially, and like that's, I think that's like no one really talks about that. Everybody talks about the hardship. It is hard, but if you're able to make it, you can, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I have a brand called Muscle Bully, dude. I could just run that fucking brand right there and be well off. And it was influenced by bullies, right?
Yeah.
X-Dog is influenced by bullies, period.
Yeah.
I just found a different lane, you know?
It branches all over the place, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes everywhere. It
Exactly.
can go anywhere. Yeah.
So do you think dogs within the breed are still kind of, I don't know how you want to call that.
Say it. Don't
Like,
hold back.
Open
Let's
sourced
go.
or crowdsourced? Because that's the way it was in the beginning, right? Before there was a registry. The whole breed was kind of like
I think that's why
crowdsourced. You
the
know what I
breed
mean?
Took off so much. Of course, crowdsourced.
He wants to know about the stack off. That's what he's asking.
No, but what I'm saying is, like,
I love
there
stack
what
off. You know, that was fun. You know, for me, I've always loved stacking off because that was like bragging rights. That was something we did for fun. You know, we'd be calling each other out. We'd meet up at the show. We'd stack off. Everyone would be the judge of it. Somebody would be talking shit and somebody would be losing.
Yeah.
You know? But everybody would get the better picture of their dog anyways. But,
even when you lose, you win.
It's a big part of the breed just for the fun side.
It's part of the culture.
You know? It's part of the culture,
Yeah.
It's, you know, what's more fun than
all right, so somebody can make a hit single and also somebody can go battle, right? Like that's just what it is, right? Like,
that's just what it is. Yeah, it's okay. For me, I'm all for it because I think it adds excitement to the show, adds excitement to you know, to the event when people are just having fun and stacking off dogs, but also when they're just having fun.
Yeah.
You know, when the crowd gets to see the dogs stack off, when you're at a nice size event and there's a lot of new people there and they get to physically see all the dogs line up and stack off and get to see how they look, you know. So I think just
if people can keep their personal emotions out of it, because any person who's like really about the breed and understands the breed, they'll take advantage of the stack off as an opportunity to say, hey, what can I possibly bring into my yard, or who can I collab with, right? Like if you're really smart, but if you're like egotistical and just dislike a fucking dog because it's somebody else's dog and your dog lost to that shit, you have a totally wrong perspective of it.
If your dog lost to it, then you should be wanting to breed to that dog.
Yeah,
you know?
You should, right? Like, most people won't, though.
I want to see if you know, if you see the dogs there that you like and that bring the things that you want to put into your kennel, you should breed to them. It shouldn't matter, you know.
It shouldn't, but egos is a motherfucker.
But yeah, everyone's got their egos. You know, I mean, for me, I'm picky. You know, if I'm going to breed a dog, I'm not just going to breed any dog. You know, I'd be very picky. Yeah, I'm picky as to what's behind a dog, not just how it looks, but also what's behind it, the combination of the two. You know, because there has to be consistency, and I have to know what's behind the dog. You know,
I think
and how it's producing behind it. You know, I mean, the longer you're in dogs, you know, breeding should be very important to you, and what you're putting.
It should be a little bit important,
I mean,
right?
you see people on social media, what stud's available? I mean, if you're doing that, I mean, I guess
stop doing it. So what he's saying is stop posting that shit.
Yeah, you know, if you're posting up your females in heat right now, you should have had a plan. You know, it's like, I get it if you had one back out or something happen because things happen, you know.
Yeah.
But
you got to dislike both sides too, though. Like I tell Stan all the time, like you could really sit back and watch who really is really careful on what they breed to or how they're breeding, because them same guys that post their bitch and they're like, who's got a stud? Most of the time you're going to see a shit ton of dudes with studs post their stud and not even really give a fuck what the bitch looks like just because they want somebody to use their stud. So it comes from both sides.
There's a lot of, you know, a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people think a lot of people are kennel blind, you know. So there's a lot of people are excited just to breed their dog and not looking at whether their dog should even be bred. Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
and it's just like some people are just working with what they have, but that doesn't necessarily mean you should be, you know. Or some people, everybody's focusing on something different. You know, they're just focusing on building a pedigree that has their name behind every dog, when they should be focusing on building the best pedigree possible, you know, and the best dogs possible and the most consistency possible.
Well,
you know, I see it all the time, people bragging about how all 3 generations is of mine and the dog doesn't look any better than the 3 generations ago.
Or worse.
You know, or worse.
Yeah.
It's like,
that kind of falls into that.
Be consistent.
that question that I was going to ask is like, we have a standard, right? But it seems like we need more people in the community. Like maybe when you get your puppy, it should come with the book, or like with the standard in there, so hey, you know what I mean? Because
well,
it seems like there's a lot of people still breeding, but not breeding toward the standard.
Ooh.
Well, people are always going to do that. Not everyone quite understands the standard. You have people just, there's all different levels of education in our community, and people that are advanced and have superior knowledge in the breed, and have superior knowledge in flaws, who understand breed type. You always hear people arguing over little things. Oh, he was a little high, or he was a little bit easty westy, or this dog had a bad bite. I know he has a bad bite, and it's just like people are always talking about little things, but they're not looking at the full picture of the dog. They're not looking at, does this dog exemplify breed type? Does this dog carry the breed forward? And that's what you really have to look at is, what does this dog bring to the table as a whole? Not just for, does he have this little flaw or that little flaw, but what does he bring into the table, and how does he carry the breed forward? Yeah. And that's one of the judges' biggest job, is to determine, what dog is going to carry the breed forward.
Yeah, I think the judges we've interviewed so far have been pretty, I don't know, they've been pretty solid about the fact that they're going to evaluate the dog first as soon as it hits the ring, and if it's not bully, it's kind of a disqualifier.
When the dogs are coming in, if you're in a standard class and you have dogs coming in and you have dogs who are lacking the type of what the standard should be, what the standard class should be, then of course those dogs are not going to be considered. If you have pockets coming in and you have pockets that fit the type, and you have pockets who are classics, a pocket classic has really no place in our standard.
Right.
What it is,
that's
just an inferior pocket, right? Yeah. So they're thinking, oh, I got the cleanest pocket in the ring, but actually you don't. You got a pocket that lacks type. You actually have one of the worst pockets in the ring right off the bat. It don't matter if he lies.
So do you think, does it, in them cases, a lot of the times they'll take that dog and they'll tell it can't be in pocket, and they'll push it to the classic class, and then like you said though, it's counted. Yeah,
there was some issues where that did happen.
Yeah,
that's been addressed with the judges. That the classic has a height requirement.
Yeah,
if you have a pocket classic and you want to push over in a classic, I mean, the reality is the pocket should carry the same features as a standard. It should be bully. It should carry bone. It should have proper head structure. It should have all the features that the American bully should have. And that's what you should be looking at. Does my dog carry proper type? Does he, is he correct? Is he bully? Does he have, and we're not saying, oh, we just want big bully dogs. We don't care about flaws. Everyone turns it, oh, they just want extreme. No, we want proper dogs that fit each type,
Right.
In the classic, in the standard, in the pocket, in the XL. We want dogs that are correct, bully, but fit the type,
Yeah.
Are dogs that are over-exaggerated favorable more than dogs that are under-exaggerated? You know what I'm saying? Like a classic that does not carry type, or a pocket does not carry type, you know what I mean, compared to a pocket that is way overdone. Like, you know what I mean?
It all depends on the flaws.
Yeah.
If that dog is way overdone and correct, then is it really way overdone?
Fair enough.
When people think of overdone, they're thinking of extreme features, elbows turned out. They're thinking of feet turned out. They're thinking extremities like this. He comes in looking like a bulldog. A bulldog's just as bad as looking like a pit bull. We're not looking for either one of those.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough.
The reality is we're looking for an American bully. One that fits what an American bully should be. Neither of the other ones. So is it going to get – it would have to exemplify type and still be correct. It wouldn't matter how extreme it is if it's correct, and looks like a bully. But
do you think the different styles of variations that judges do have sometimes, like, you might go in, one judge might like a more classic. You go in, the next judge might like a more bullier. Does that affect the end result that y'all are trying to get?
No, the thing is, that's the greatest thing about judges and showing dogs, right?
Yeah.
Is everyone has a preference. everyone has a style that they gravitate towards, you know? And
Yeah.
if every judge picked exactly the same and did the exact same thing, then every ring would look exactly the same. Every outcome would be exactly the same, you know? And imagine a world like that. You know, nobody wants that. Nobody wants exactly the same. You know, every judge has a different pet peeves that they dislike. You know, look in your own yard. If there's a certain flaw that you can't stand to look at in your yard, right? Just like you can't stand to look at that flaw, every judge has something that they feel the same way about. Like, I'm not picking that no matter what. I don't care. I hate that flaw.
All right.
You know, whether it's temperament, whether it's a gay tail, whether it's, you know, if it's hockey in the rear, whatever it is that a judge has, he's going to gravitate.
All right, I'm going to play devil's advocate here then. All right.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Do you feel that hurts the clarity of the people who are actually trying to, you know, like, because like in my head, I'm like, where does that provide a clear vision?
I don't think it hurts it, because the reality is every variety, every type, classic, standard, pocket, XL, all have equal opportunity to win in the ring. You know, so if you have a judge who likes this type better, then that's fine. That's the type he likes, you know.
Yeah.
And what it is he sees more potential in this one. That doesn't mean he's wrong, you know, because at this point, every type has equal opportunity to win. We're not saying, oh, you can't pick classics. No, if this judge likes the classic better, then that's their style. That's what they prefer. Then that's what they choose.
All right, let me go a little bit deeper.
I was going to say, I think it was a little more specific.
You got to understand, and also the subconscious. You know, there are people who, and I've tested it with judges in the past. I tell them, you always pick a white dog every time. No, I don't. No, I only pick the best dog in the ring. I only pick the best dog. Yeah, you pick the best white dog. You know,
all right.
And I'm just using white as an example, right?
Yeah.
They'll be like, no, I don't do that. And then I'll show them the next show.
Did we lose him?
Lost his audio,
This is a perfect opportunity for me to put words in his mouth right now.
You lost your audio.
Coop, we lost your audio. Can you hear us?
His headphone might.
There he
it
is.
goes.
All right. We missed the last 20 seconds.
Oh.
No, so I tell them that, you know, that I show them in the next show where they pick 3, 4 white dogs, right? And I'm like, see, you picked them again. They're like, no. That's just because those were the best dogs.
Yeah.
Right? I don't just pick that. I don't pick color. I don't care about color. You know, I pick the best dogs in the ring. But what they don't realize is they naturally gravitate subconsciously to certain types and certain styles, and every
well, that's
person
just human.
does it.
Yeah,
That's
I say
human.
that all the time.
But,
that's just if you put anybody in a room and give them 5 things to pick from,
but what
naturally, they're going
happens?
to pick
But
what
even
they like
if
most.
you make them aware of it, they still do it because that's their style. That's what they like. When they look at them dogs, that's the best one. That's what they see, and they stand behind it 100%. And how can you fault that?
Well, then how? Okay, so let's at a nationals, right?
Yeah.
And let's just say a judge is naturally picking more of a classic style, standard type dog, right? And then you have a dog that's more on the extreme side, who's just top dog winning all year, and they're going to determine, do they go against what they truly feel, what they believe in is the better dog, to go after the top dog? You know what I mean? And that's just a hypothetical speaking. I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything.
I think every judge does, but the reason usually a top dog is a top dog is because he has great attributes. You know, it doesn't matter if he's bully or whatever he is. If he's bully and he's a top dog and he's winning all year, it's because he moves well. It's because he carries his weight well. It's because he's conditioned well. You know, he's been performing all year. So even when he steps in that ring, you know, he's moving just like every other dog in that ring in this type that he likes.
Yeah.
Right.
Because when you're working with a dog and you're constantly going weekend after weekend with a dog, that dog becomes very conditioned at doing its job.
Yeah.
You know, and you two working together become a unit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. The chemistry,
build a chemistry that's just amazing, and it's great to watch.
Yeah.
And,
No, I appreciate you being, giving us your perspective, and your viewpoint on it, because it's just something that, a lot of people may not be, they're afraid to ask. And I'm like, no, Coop's the type of guy he's going to give it to you straight,
Well, the thing is we watch the judges.
Yeah.
We pay attention to how everyone picks and what they do, and we question them and we talk to them behind the scenes, and and we get the complaints and we get everything that happens every weekend.
I couldn't even imagine.
So
the fucking
every weekend, it doesn't matter. There's coming.
There can only be one winner, and everybody else is losers who's not winning. So everybody is like,
somebody is mad.
One happy guy, 100 pissed off.
Judges picked, and you can always see. It doesn't matter. There's 4 judges this weekend. There's 6 judges this weekend. There's usually a top 4 dogs that are always in there.
I'm just wondering because it's like,
if
like
top 4 dogs. If you have 6 judges this weekend, a 6-show weekend, and there's 4 dogs that are always in the top. So in other words, 1, 2, or 3 of these dogs is always in the top 3 of these top 4.
Right.
So this judge went with 4, 3, and 2. This judge went. To me, that's consistent. These 4 dogs were all the way across the board somewhere.
If you're a competitor, then like about how far in the season do you kind of know who are the top, let's say 10 dogs, that you got to watch out for?
I don't know. It all depends. Some years it's very close.
Yeah.
Some years there's someone that takes off.
There's always that year, man, where I'm like talking to nationals. They're like, hey, but you guys haven't seen this dog who's coming in internationally, and he's fucking killing. He got a potential chance to win it all. And so it's just like I always wonder that shit.
We've seen nationals. We've seen wild cards come in the ring at nationals, first time in the ring, and we've seen them take it.
Yeah.
And everyone used to say, oh, top dog never gets it. Top dog never gets it. And they used to be like, well, just because it's the top dog doesn't always mean it's the best dog either.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes it's the most traveled.
Yeah.
And it's the most traveled condition, but it doesn't mean that it can't be beaten.
Yeah.
And every top dog will tell you they didn't just walk in the ring and win every show.
Yeah.
It wasn't a given.
Oh yeah.
They still had dogs who would come in and beat them. It's not like they won every single time. Every top dog has had a rival that would come in the ring and ruin their streak.
Yeah.
So,
I think the last couple of years has been a great rivalry. It's almost. I think it's probably a truly inspiring rivalry.
Well, it makes you wonder this year, you're like, okay, now what?
Well, it's early right now, but I think everyone will see someone's going to start running for it.
Yeah.
Once someone realizes that they're in it, like, oh, I'm in the top 3 or I'm going to be able to run it, someone's going to try to go for it. And that's
because like you said, they'll get that spark and then that flame, and then they'll want to start traveling. They'll know they're ahead of the pack, and they'll be like, okay, now I need to bolt down and really take this shit serious.
Now,
unfortunately,
do y'all do like a mid-season results? Like, hey, all right, this is the top 10 as of now, or do y'all wait till the end of the year?
Regina updates. Everyone follows and tracks it, but she does. She updates it on the site and does releases, and then so
and
that's when everyone's in them early top 10s.
Very competitive mode.
Thinking, wait a minute, I can go. I can get up there, or I want to be in the top 5. I want to be in the top 3. Everyone starts running for different positions. And then it's like, wait a minute, maybe I can get that one spot.
Yeah.
So everybody wants that one spot.
So unfortunate that it can't be a female. You know what I mean? Because they've got the heat cycles, and like anytime you see a female running it up, she comes in the heat. Yeah, they're like long enough to knock her off.
Yep.
Like by the time she comes back, she's already too far behind.
Or people start their breed session with her. She's at that 3rd heat, and then you really don't see her because they're going to back-to-back her. So what? That's 6 months, 12 months, a year and a half. You probably won't see the bitch again.
Yeah, you've seen people do it all.
And that's been it's a tough spot because she has to be a breedable female to show.
Yeah.
So you can't even breed her out to 3, get her fixed, and then put her on the road. You can't do that. Yeah. She has to be breedable to show her. Yeah. So it's just really, really tough for a female to make a run at least that top dog.
Yeah, that is tough. It is tough.
Yeah, you'd have to sacrifice one or the other, right? Like if you want to take that journey to actually push to that many shows to get top dog and keep it, and then actually hit nationals, and you would really have to sacrifice the breeding.
On your breeding.
Yes,
you'd have a 6-month period.
You would just have to wait until she's older.
I would definitely wait.
Yeah. Well, if you wait, then you still got the period, the heat cycle,
where you can't bring it to the show. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't because a couple of weeks. So.
Yeah. Well, I got females that Precious is Max still thinks that Precious is ready to rock. I don't know. I'm like, dude, that's way over with. Like, back off.
Well, I mean, Simba wants to hump everything.
Yeah. I got
some dogs
it
are just
doesn't
like,
I don't care if she's in heat or not. He's like, oh, you want to play? Let's get excited.
Yeah,
like,
he knows it's there.
He's like, I know you did it. I seen it, so
it's
I want some.
Full on. That's it.
Yeah,
because
we have some questions.
I really see
questions from people.
Yeah.
Okay.
But go ahead and ask yours.
But
yeah,
I really
got a few.
I still see, which I guess the registry probably doesn't have a problem with it, but I still see two different style. I'm talking within the standard class, right? So you see a dog that's bigger, thicker, heavier, but still looks like a big, thick terrier, right? And then we see dogs.
Give us an example, Raj. Have you seen anyone recently?
No? How about no? And then there's dogs that are in the standard class. They lean more toward, I guess you could say, bulldog traits. You know what I mean? Like that not so slender chassis, but a wider, thicker chassis. You get kind of what I'm getting at. Like some of them are still they got bigger bone. I'll give them that. And they put more weight on them, but they still they just look like a big terrier. They're still big. It's kind of. So I wonder, do you think that's just going to form together one day to like become the one dog? Because really, we're shooting for that cookie cutter look, right?
Yeah, but you got to understand. There are dogs, like I said, who make it at all different levels. Maybe this dog brings something to the breed, but maybe he's never going to be a top dog.
Right.
But maybe he's worthy of winning. He's worthy of becoming a champion. There's dogs that stop at all different points. Some dogs never become grand champions. Some dogs never become a top dog. But then there's different levels. Some get their class wins and become a champion. Some just get class wins. But it all depends. If the dog, every show ring is different. Every area is different. Your competition is different at every show. So it's like, just because a dog won, or you see a dog post up online and has a first place ribbon, doesn't even mean he had the competition. Doesn't mean that he won the best male.
Right.
He could have been the only dog in his class, and he just moved forward and competed against best male, but he walked away with one first place.
That's the hardest part about the best dog on that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you could run off to some little show in Idaho or some shit wherever, and like the big dogs didn't show up there.
Yeah.
Right. And you can still get your points. So that's tough. And but I mean, for us, it's always been. I'm more fun. I like going to big shows, and I realize that your odds of taking an L are better at a big show because so many dogs show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but to me, it's more fun.
Yeah,
huh?
When you get that win,
you earned it.
Sweeter.
Yeah, oh hell yeah.
So those
exactly.
are sweet, regardless. And everybody, I think has equal opportunity. There's a lot of dogs that come in the ring untrained, bad handlers, don't present well, don't stack well, don't bring the dog out to its full potential. Yeah. And then you have other dogs who come in and are extremely trained, and maybe they lack, but they're presented in the best way possible, So it's up to judges to determine that.
All right, so we do have some questions. Safari Bully said, do you think that health testing should be standard for breeders? So do you think that it could be a requirement of ABKC at some point before they are able to be bred?
I don't know about a requirement, but definitely people should.
Yeah.
I mean, should people health test? Yes. Should that be a major concern and at the forefront? But is testing accurate right now? Are there things in place that identify our breed? No, it's not to a point where they have our breed dialed in and they know exactly where our breed should be. Every breed is different, whether it's pin hip or whatever. I think, but more people need to do it so they can have a better understanding as to where our breed should be. And one day I think it'll be more dialed in if more people do it and more people start health testing and more people do these things, then our breed can become better and more knowledgeable within the health testing organization. because right now, they're judging us, comparing us to other breeds, and you have people who are getting health tested and it's being compared to pit bulls and other things. It's not really, they don't have accurate information on the American Bully,
Right.
to be accurate as to what our breed should be.
So basically what they're doing is they're looking there and saying, okay, the Bulldog has all this bullshit it can have, and the Terrier has all this bullshit it can have, so we're going to check this dog and see if it has any of that.
Yeah, in order for them to build up what is normal within our breed, they need a wide variety of people testing.
Yeah,
right.
To figure out what range our breed should be in. They know that the pit bulls in this range. They know that Bulldogs are over here in this range. But where does our breed lie? And where are our stats and should our numbers exactly be? I don't think enough dogs have been tested for them to really understand our breed.
Right.
That makes sense.
Totally understandable.
So, but do people need to do it? Yes. Do we encourage it? Definitely.
Right.
Genetic health testing, all health testing. I think there's a lot of new tools that are becoming more popular and definitely benefit breeders. There's a lot of, even with the DNA health testing or genetic health testing, they're getting better, and the more people that do it, the better it's going to get. And the more they're going to understand, especially with all these different colors in the breeds, but then with the eye issues and all the other issues,
Yeah.
So if people were more dedicated to health testing, right? Yeah. So let's say we had the vast majority of people that are ABKC registered showing their dogs, and they're all pretty dedicated to health testing. It's kind of become the norm. Do you think at that point ABKC would be a little more tolerant of, say, Merle?
Well, as of right now, you're doing a major hypothetical, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely.
Wait,
it's a major hypothetical.
You're like, imagine
if we went to the moon.
Imagine if everyone in the bully world health tested.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or everyone genetic tested, and everyone did this.
Well, I'm trying to give them something to reach toward.
But the reality is everyone does it.
Right.
And most do not. Right? And until then, it's up to us to protect and preserve the breed.
Exactly.
And so until people actually start doing things like that,
Do you feel because people don't do it because maybe some of the big name studs, it may compromise a bunch of different programs?
They probably don't because of that, but that ain't why they shouldn't.
Yeah.
You would think those big name studs, because I think if someone wants to breed your dog, they're going to breed it regardless.
Yeah.
But if they knew that you had certain things that they didn't want to breed to, then maybe they won't breed your stud. Maybe they'll find an offspring that has it, So it's okay if you lose some people, but it's all about creating a healthy dog.
Right.
It's all about, would I personally, if I have a big name stud and I'm going to be breeding them a lot, would I want to health test them?
Yeah.
Yes. Would I want my customers, would I want to produce as many good litters as possible? Yes.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm getting 50, 60 breedings, 70 breedings a year, 80 breedings, whatever it is, 100 breedings, then I would want as many good litters as possible. I would want, you see studs online right now being blasted all the time because of bad litters. Where maybe if they did health testing and maybe they did some other things, they wouldn't have so many people blasting them with their bad dogs.
Well, that's the problem, is it's a two-way street. The stud could just have one copy. It's the female that has the other one, and then some bad shit happened and they blame it on the stud owner.
We just kind of want to see the perspective of what the ABKC, because at the end of the day, there are communities that are built off dogs, breeds that are fucking flawed the fuck up. We know that.
Yeah. Well, there's many breeds that are have many flaws.
They don't have to be with the bull breeds either. There's, I've seen working dog communities with, hip dysplasia is it thrives, or DCM thrives within Dobermans and, barrel chested breeds. It's I don't want to just corner the bully breed.
Its own flaws.
Yeah.
Every breed has every standard for every breed determines or identifies what should not exist in that breed. and it's usually based on the bad flaws that are within that breed.
Right.
Well, and I can only imagine, man, because it's like people expect the ABKC or a registry in general to police everybody, which is impossible. Like I've sold vests to people, and people held me accountable for somebody else who bought a product, and maybe overweighted the vest or put it on a young dog. Like I'm going to need you to give me the vest back, and I'm going to need you to never use this again. I don't know where you got it, but, like you can't as a business, you can't police everybody.
There's always people that are going to just come out and do everything wrong. They're trying to they're overdoing it when they're a puppy, trying to bring them to their best potential, but instead of just letting them grow.
I'm just saying it's impossible for the ABKC to police everybody, at that level.
I think we're the only one that everyone wants to police everyone. Everyone wants us to police everyone. We're the only one that's held accountable. Like UKC can do anything, AKC can do anything, all the others can do anything, but us, never. Anything we do, we're the only one held to.
I need you to fucking go to this person's house and tell them how they should run their program.
That's what they want to do. Hey, I know he's mixing. I want you to get on the plane, fly over there, test all their dogs, check it out. Because he's got wrinkles on his feet. It's like, I've seen it. His nose comes up a little bit. He's got a turned up nose. You need to go there and DNA every dog.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's just not practical.
It's not.
And all this stuff's going to work itself out in 50 years, 60 years. You know what I mean? Like, we got a lot of speed bumps that are just going to naturally progress over the years.
Of course. It's going to keep getting better. I think COVID set things back some.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The natural filtering that happens, like every show, there's when people are showing and their dogs are being filtered out, that we had a whole year and a half where dogs weren't being filtered, and we had a mass amount of dogs come in that didn't fit type or a lot of flaws. So there was a heavy amount of flaws in the ring and dogs who didn't fit standard.
That's really what kind of got me on the path that I am, is because unlike a lot of people that started breeding a more terrier style dog and had to progress that dog over time, I came into the show ring and was immediately kicked out of the standard class, like first show.
Oh,
so I was like,
poor Roger.
Poor
fucking Roger.
What it did was it set a precedent immediately. I didn't have the opportunity to create an opinion for myself of what the dog should be look like. Someone immediately slapped me on the hand and said, "No."
What'd you do? What'd you learn from that?
Get a bullier dog.
Okay. He learned that he had a classic.
Yeah.
He thought he bought a bully, but it's okay that you had a classic.
And she's bad. She's still bad, but no, you got that realization, and I think a lot of the resistance in the community is because of these generational breeders that have said, this is what the American bully is. You see the argument every day. Someone posts it and they're like, that's not an American bully. Or thanks for breeding a real American bully.
Or I'm a breeder, not a buyer. And I'm like, I think there's exceptional buyers out there.
My vision.
My vision.
My vision.
Everyone talks about this. I'm a breeder, not a buyer.
I hate that shit.
I would, if it's good for my kennel, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Everybody's a buyer at the end of the day. You bought a house, you bought the fucking products that made your kennel. What are you going to wait? Why don't you build your own kennels out? Make your own metal.
It just seems like a smart business move.
I mean, I just built an adult, which I've never done before. So,
well, at least you knew exactly what you were getting.
Yeah. There's some dangerous buyers. I would consider Roger a dangerous buyer because he does have a vision and he has the capital to, you know what I mean? Like, you can sit back. Like I sit back, I tell all the time, they joke around. I was like, I'm going to wait till everybody makes a mistake and let the breed get more consistent. Then I'm going to come in and build a foundation from that.
Yeah.
But I've been in the game for 20 years, so
still waiting.
It's like I'm still waiting. Well, because everybody who has good shit sends it overseas.
He's a hater. You hear that shit? I have to put up with that shit all the time. I ain't sent a dog overseas yet.
A lot of people sell. Yeah,
you would have.
They get made offers.
Like 10 pups.
Yeah. Money talks, right? That's the problem.
Breeding. Never know.
That is a problem.
I mean,
in the breed.
it's hard for anybody. I don't care what you're doing. If somebody comes to you with 60, 50, 40, 75, 80 grand cash, and they're like, "Hey, bro, I want to buy this." I don't care if you're trying to sell it or not. When they've got the cash in their hand, it
tempting,
changes your perspective. You're like, "Oh, shit,
Yeah,
let me
I
think about
things
this."
like that have hurt the breed some over the years because when new markets opened up in different areas around the world and everyone was fighting for the best dogs in those areas, they were buying up our best dogs.
Yeah.
Our gene pool is always leaving, and then we're trying to rebuild here.
We'll segue to that.
Like,
we had a judge last week. He said he went international. He did a lot of international trafficking. He says, "Man, there's some heavy hitter American bully breeders and kennels and programs outside of the U.S." How do you compare that right now, as far as like international versus U.S.? Is it close? Is it a landslide by U.S. or
USA?
I don't know. There's really nice dogs everywhere.
Yeah.
There's good and bad everywhere. So I think there are areas where they're more exceptional. Like there's a lot of very nice dogs in Europe and different markets, but they may buy a lot of them dogs, but then they still got to breed them, and they still got to breed them to the dogs that are in those areas. So they're still building.
Yeah.
It isn't like they bought those dogs and then those areas became great. No, because there wasn't great females everywhere. The other kennels didn't all have great dogs to add to it, so they still had to build. They just took from building here to building there.
Yeah.
So it isn't like, you buy a bunch of great dogs from here and bring them over to this country, and then now they're still got to breed them.
You still got to know what to do with them.
Yeah, you still got to know what to do.
Yeah, that makes
sense. You still got to learn what to do with them. They think people get in new, they buy a major stud or get a top dog, and they think their dog's going to change the world. But without a bad female, then they're not going to do it.
Right.
It takes two.
All right.
So
we got another question here.
Consistent females and doing consistency.
As much as we like to bitch about classics and talk about them, I should say. XLs also come up very frequently, and that's the next question. Can you talk about XLs and why have them in the shows if they will never be on top?
Oh,
why won't they be on top? Yeah. I think the XLs have advanced a lot over the years, but they've done it maybe not as quickly because there's not as many people breeding them and not as many coming in the ring. The XL community is not as big as the standard or the pocket or these other varieties.
Yeah.
But then within the XL community, you have a lot of people who chase fads. You have a lot of people chasing
colors, patterns.
You have a lot of people doing different things, the double XLs, the different stuff. So I think within the XL community, there's issues with those chasing fads, but I see a lot of consistent XL breeders who are doing very well also.
Yeah.
And it's a slower uprising from the XLs because of the amount of people and the amount who have chased fads and gone other directions. Yeah. But do I see a lot of very good XL breeders? Yes. There's many up on the East Coast here that are coming to my shows, and I see like in Allentown and different places up the coast here, or all over the East Coast, and of course in the Midwest. So it's kind of like they're growing, but they haven't grown as quickly, and they haven't built consistency as quickly. But are we starting to see more girthier XLs?
But
yes.
That makes for a bigger opportunity for those who really want to dial in and focus on that, right?
Well, the XL community has also been very divided amongst each other, and they need to, I see them working a lot and collabing over here in different places, but they need to support each other. They need to build together. If they, even within the standard, a lot of the top dogs that win, if you notice, are bigger dogs.
Yeah.
They're bigger, bullier dogs. Look at your even Zero, he's a bigger boy, but a lot of them throughout history have been bigger boys, and I think the XL just needs to keep focusing on building the type, and once they get dialed in, they have equal opportunity just as any of the others. I just think they need, as a community, have got to keep pushing together, and they just lose a lot. They lose a lot to the different fads.
I think there's probably
within the XL community.
Yeah,
I think there's probably a bigger divide between the XLs that are in the ring and the XLs, they're the ones you're always, on a logging chain blocking the entrance to the ring. Those aren't even the same dogs. Like, at least a lot of bullies that are like not in the ring still look bully to some degree.
Wow.
But these XL, there's XLs, they don't even look like bullies to me compared to the ones that are coming in the ring.
What do they look like?
They look like Mastiffs.
Okay.
Great Danes and shit. You know what I mean? But the ones they put in the ring, those are looking like, man, like what's his name we interviewed? His was crazy. Yeah. Absolutely crazy. Like there was no denying that dog. You look at him, you're like, that's a bully.
Yeah. Oh, Anthony Caesar.
Yeah.
He had nice XLs. I think you're right though. Like when I first started seeing them, I think a lot of people were just breeding for height, not actual bulliness.
Not even
like they just
size.
Who
gives a fuck about all the flaws?
Like I was at
the
show one time, bro, sitting in a chair, and literally this lady came up with her XL, and he was just like, "You just right there, bro." Like I was like, "Holy shit!" Bro,
no one ever talked. In my opinion, I've never heard anybody ever talk about structurally sound XLs. It was always like how much the dog weighs, and that's all they care about.
How big their head is.
Yeah. Do you think the dog Hulk, when Hulk came along, do you think he made a turn for that to where like? No, I'm serious. Like before,
I mean, okay,
he was just such he was such a viral thing, such a big dog. Nobody really
he wasn't a bully. He
was
a pit bull.
But bro, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you, you know that the world didn't.
Do you
know that.
not know that there's a difference between pit bulls and American bullies?
Nobody knew that shit, bro. Nobody knew that shit, bro.
I'm just saying.
There have been many lines of XLs that have always been popular.
Yeah.
There's been high-end XLs selling for this whole time forever. There's been a niche in XLs forever. Long before bullies, the whole time I've been in bullies, there's been people selling high-dollar XLs. There's been people into that. They have their niche, and they were more pit bull style.
Yeah.
We have our own bully style community, and they are building up. I see more every show.
Roger is breeding towards hairless that are carrying fluffy genes.
What the?
The last Allentown show I had.
I dare somebody to do that. I'd love to see a fluffy XL.
Hairless.
We had
who carries fluffy
of
XL.
Of XLs at the last Allentown show, and we had over like 20-something XLs in the ring.
Yeah.
So it was a good XL class. And there's a lot of potential. So I think things are coming.
Yeah, I think they're getting better.
Spain, there was some crazy ones in Spain. Like
I
remember watching a live. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it was very nice. Actually, an XL won the best of winner. They won winners. So
nice.
Has
there ever been a grand champion XL?
I think Anthony said there's like 15 total.
All 15 total since the registry.
I think a little more than that, but yeah.
Yeah, something like that he said. Yeah.
You're going to mess around and make me start breeding these dogs.
A little while back. I think that's a few years
I dare you. I guarantee you won't.
I think that's the worst part. I'm so fucking hard on them because I'm kind of fans of them. You know what I mean?
Dina's watching. He's going to walk in the door when he gets home. She's like, you don't even fucking think about it. Like, no fucking XLs. He ain't even going to get a chance.
You got to love when you see a nice bully XL.
Yeah.
I mean, they're beautiful,
They're impressive.
Everybody loves a big, impressive, ground-pounding dog.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't? So
very true.
Yeah, especially when they're very muscular.
Well,
there was some really nice ones in Europe, especially at the Euro Nationals. There was some really nice ones.
It's just not their time right now. When you think about it, like we talked about, like being like a bodybuilder, right? Like the biggest bodybuilder, the one who carries the most mass, but still meets the standard, right? Usually is the most popular individual in the world. Heavyweights in combat sports. You look at basketball players now, fucking, point guards are 7 foot tall.
Man, a white dude just won the dunk contest, bro. What are you talking about? He was like 5'10". He just fucking won the dunk contest.
I already knew you were going to bring that shit up. But I did. I
anything's possible.
But what I'm saying is that's an anomaly, which you always talk about. The American bully is based off the anomaly, right? Like Roger, does he not always say that?
I asked it because he's a hater. I'm not a hater. I'm saying the ratio though. For the last three, listen, dog. Put it this way: for the last 3 years, the competition's between two dogs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, in my opinion, the ratio should be higher. The percentage should be higher. There should be fucking 10 dogs battling, not 2 for 3 years. I'm not knocking the dogs. I'm just
Well,
saying.
there were 10 dogs battling, but
Thank
all
you.
10 dogs couldn't get in the battle.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I mean, the thing is, not everybody can get in it heavy and go head to head, traveling everywhere.
The expense part, yeah.
Yeah, the expense part. It's a very expensive campaign.
Yeah.
Do you think? Extremely expensive.
Do you think that's what turns? Do you think that's what makes so many new people come and then they realize, okay, wait a minute, this is a super high investment, and it's like they realize what actually comes with the territory.
I think so. A lot of them get discouraged by it because it is a super high investment, but then they feel like, oh, there's politics. This dog's just winning because of this.
Yeah.
They're not realizing that person's also putting in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
It's a lot, yeah.
Maxing out credit cards, doing all kinds of stuff, you know, and then hoping that their dog starts taking off with stud and other things. They're hoping to get the notoriety, hoping for people to see their dogs, which some of that does come into play. They do start to get more breedings, and they start to do other things, and that starts to help their drive.
Yeah.
Just don't fucking complain if you're not like the term is investment. So invest. Don't expect to invest so little and then get the same notoriety as somebody who invests their fucking life and soul into it. It's that's all I'm saying.
All in.
Yeah.
But now think about it. Not only are they going all in, but people are getting to see their dog from coast to coast.
Yeah.
People are getting to actually put their hands on their dogs at every show. Everywhere they go, they're getting to meet people. They're getting to network. They're getting to do
It's a product, man. You're presenting a product. So if you only present it in a certain region or certain area, you can't expect to have worldwide notoriety unless you really dominate your area to where it organically falls out to that. But right now, there's not that type of consistency.
Yeah, and you have to be, you have to be able to communicate, talk, invest time and effort into the process.
Yeah.
Too. You know, a lot of people just wait for people to come to them, but you know, if you're at a show and you're a breeder or you're campaigning, you're showing your dog, you know, you need to be meeting people, shaking hands. You need to be letting people also meet you, because a lot of people also breed to people they like, people they enjoy working with. People, you know, if I like you and I like your program and like the way you conduct yourself, I'm more willing to give you money towards a breeding than I am someone else.
Networking is fucking vital.
Well, someone just said it. Someone just said it in the chat, and I think that, you know, we could see that in the future. Someone said something about, you know, dog businesses sponsoring dogs to help pay for like hotels and shit like that.
Well, I mean,
I can see that happening.
In the UKC, I mean, the dog that won was Walter. Like, he's got millionaires behind him that pretty much fund his or you know, but if you're an actual business, it's something that you could probably do on your own. Like, if you're generating revenue to a point, you go to a local business and say, hey, just sponsor me. Like,
that's a tough one.
Yeah. Like, hey, go to your local, let's say they own
company.
There you go. And be like, look, we travel all over the world. Give us $500 for the year. We're going to, you know, boom. And then you just got to make sure that it's business and you're
right.
They get their return or whatever you agreed on. But I mean,
I don't know. I mean, then on the flip side of that, you know, people will be like, well, they're sponsored. That's why I win all the time.
I think if you're paying a dog to travel around, you're not getting the same exposure as if you were to pay an actual show. You know, you'd rather it's better as a company to sponsor an event and be put in the face of every person who walks through the door, where if you're just sponsoring a dog, you know, you're just paying for his trip to travel around. And how much exposure are you really getting? You're getting the exposure of his page or of his whatever, but you're not getting the exposure of every person who walks in that event.
Yep, and it's not guaranteed that he's going to win either.
No, for sure.
Or sponsor a show or do something different.
And
you know?
like we said earlier, there's a lot of new people coming into the community who don't know who the fucking top dogs are. Like, they don't fucking like people come in like they would see Blue or Zero and they wouldn't recognize them, but they'd see, like, I've seen it time and time again where somebody's like, oh my God, look at this fucking dog. And that dog is just somebody walking a fucking dog around the fucking show. It's not even in an event. Well, they're going ape shit over it.
The thing about new people when they come in, you know, they don't know any of the politics. They don't know anything. They just looking at the dogs and loving what they see. You know, they don't care who's this or who's that. They don't care about any of that stuff. You know,
but we've done it.
We've encouraged those people.
Yeah,
we've actually done it. We've seen people that didn't come to show their dog, and you know, felt like that dog was. We were like, go over and register a damn dog and get it in the ring.
Oh,
You
happened
know,
to me.
they weren't
I
even
mean,
thinking about it when they came there.
that's how I ended up in the ring. The first time I ever went to a show, I literally went with a fucking puppy just to go and see what was going on. And then the people next to me, Tam Tough Bullies, I went to the car, came back. They had my dog out the crate with my old lady stacking the dog, telling me, "Hey man, you need to show this dog." I'm like, I know absolutely
Put your dog in the
nothing
ring.
about this shit. And then
Right.
but it's a good thing. But that was the point where it was like, okay, now where do I go to learn? And it was like, I can't find much. So that was the point of all this, right? Let's bring the knowledge to these people so where they actually understand what needs to be done. They actually understand everything that is like, you can't find the shit. You can't find content. You can't find any type of knowledge unless you dig deep. So that was my whole journey.
Well, can't you go to the ABKC website though? Is that?
Yeah, but it's not going to teach you how to breed. It's not going to tell you how to. There's certain things. You see what I'm saying? Like the culture of the entire thing is what I'm trying to bring a light to.
At my event, when at every show I'm at, you know, I get to meet. It's one of the great things for me with hosting events is I get to meet the new people.
Yeah,
I know everybody who's coming in. I get to answer their questions. I get to try to point them in a direction. I spend countless hours before every show with new people calling me and ask me, what do I need to do? How do I staff my dog? Do I have to have a handler? You know, what do I do? I'm sending them stuff. I'm educating them because they're essential, you know, to the event, to the shows, and to learn, but also to have a good experience. You know, when people come in the ring or come to their first show and win for the first time and do that stuff, it's, you know, for one, it's a great feeling. You know, they get addicted to it. You know,
that's fair. It is addicting.
I mean, it's a rush. You know, it's a thrill.
Yeah, it really is.
To win, you know, and to come out and plus to see your dog win, you know, so it's just, and you got a lot of people who are too nervous. They're scared to get in the ring. They don't know what to do, you know, and I try to encourage them to get in there and try. You know, I always have handlers who will work with people's dogs to try to show them what to do. And I mean, every show I'm introducing people to all different handlers to at least, not even to handle their dogs, but to just show them what to do.
Yeah.
You know, and asking people, hey, can you show them, can you give them some tips for the ring? You know, because, you know, for me, it's exciting for people to get in there and show their dogs. And that's where they really learn.
Because it's honestly tough outside looking in for you to have any clue what you should be doing. Yeah. It's like you almost have to buy a dog, come in, then you start to learn. It's just like,
because a lot of them, well, you know, I mean,
Google shows you
that's part of the journey, though, man.
When
like
you're trying to figure shit out,
any aspect of life, like you gotta have to invest and take
adversity.
You're gonna have to face that adversity.
But I mean, even
the biggest thing you have to learn.
Yeah.
You know, when I first got in it, you know, I started meeting kennels that were local. You know, we started getting together. They were already getting together and meeting up and practicing doing rings, setting up rings. We used to set up show rings at my friend's house, and we would all go stack up our dogs and work them and practice for the show ring.
Yeah.
You know, and you got to network with your local kennels and people within the community and work your dogs together, show people, educate people, bring new people in. You know, for me, my biggest market was usually in my backyard. You know, that was where I sold my dogs. That was where I brought in new people in the community. That was where I worked with people. You know, so I think all that's important. You know, a lot of people, they get caught up in all this Facebook stuff and social media and getting the negativity, but it's like,
I think you had a point there. Like a lot of people are getting in this breed. They'll go on social media to try to sell dogs to other breeders and shit, where there's people who never even really get on these social media groups that are fucking murdering it just by having a great marketing plan within their community.
Yeah.
Just fucking kill it.
Yep.
That's usually where it's at.
Yeah.
You know, if you build up a name for yourself in your local market,
those
are your pet homes, those are your people who want a dog, those are your repeat customers, those are your word of mouth customers.
Yep.
You know, it's like, I mean, you're not gaining any notoriety from Facebook.
I mean, think about this. How many artists sell artwork to other artists?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's true.
No, exactly.
It's true.
I mean, maybe if you admire an artist, you'll buy a piece of their work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, but, and, you know, same with us breeders, you know, if I see something I like of his, but the reality is you have to build your own market.
Yeah.
You know, that is with anything, with any product,
Right.
with any business, with anything, and that's also with the dogs. You know, your market is in your backyard. It's word of mouth. It's people who buy dogs from you and are happy and say, "Hey, I got this dog from him." You know, and then person can then call you up and come to your house and see your dogs, and you know, it's like if you're not focusing on your local market, you're definitely missing a big
huge opportunity.
Equation. Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
And just getting people to slow down is, I mean, they just want to make it right now. They just want to do it right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know how much you're going to miss if you don't slow down and just learn some shit.
Yeah.
You're going to be
nature
screwed.
Want it and want it now. I mean, look at you. You're still buying dogs.
Yeah. I was waiting for that one all night.
I mean, ain't nobody claiming to be nobody on this end.
You could have
Stop being humble, Roger.
But you know what? It's human nature to want it and want it now. But yeah, of course, everyone needs to take the time. And
with me, the reason, as I thought, okay,
that was just a joke.
No, it wasn't.
The odds are but the truth, a lot of truth behind it is
truth.
The odds are, if you want a certain dog, you're probably going to have to get a lot of samples. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the odds of, and I tell people all the time, the odds of you being on the outside, buying your first dog, and getting that dog is probably zero.
You know, Roger's
like the odds, you're not going to do it.
When I first got in it, I think I kind of made the mistake of buying too many dogs. Yeah. I sort of became more of a collector, you know, because I had to have this blood. I had to have the best of this blood and everything. And I had to have all these pieces. And next thing you know, now I couldn't even, there wasn't even enough time to breed them all together.
Right.
You know, it was like.
Exactly.
You know, now I know I had to breed this one too, and then I have to wait for the pups to grow up to see how they come out and see what was successful, what wasn't. You know, next thing you know, I pretty much had studs I couldn't even use yet. You know, I had things I couldn't even add to my program yet because I couldn't even give it the time to grow. And then you're losing years of a dog's prime life.
Exactly.
You know? So
not only that, but people need to learn how to pet home. You know what I mean? You buy the dog, at 6 months old, you're like, nah, this shit ain't working out. You know what I mean? Just put it on the couch. Like, stop hoarding everything.
Yeah, I hoarded. I think I hoarded.
Yeah. You know, Roger's motto, don't buy the stud fee, just buy the fucking stud.
That's it.
I mean, if you're going to use the dog 5 times, think about it.
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, shit, man. Let's ask a couple more questions and call it a night, man. This has been a great fucking episode. I ain't gonna lie.
All right.
Let's see.
Yeah,
oh my God! Look at
dig up a couple more. Double. What we got? A bunch.
He said, Dubtown Bully says, "What's ABKC's take on a national and local breed clubs?" Ooh.
National and local breed clubs. Well, when it comes to the American Bully, we are the breed club for the American Bully.
Yeah.
You know? Then when it comes to the other breeds, there are already national breed clubs for them. You know. So as far as with the American Bully, you know, there's too many registries not following the breed standard of the bully and allowing other things into the breed, to where I think right now it's not an open book, you know?
All right.
If that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. All right.
No, I think we had one of your other judges said, you know, you don't have a problem with like sister registries as long as everyone was on the same page. You know, everyone was doing the exact same shit. Right.
Everyone lets anything into the breed. Yeah. You know, if you follow the guidelines of the UKC, then anything's a bully. You know?
Yeah.
It's like literally, you know, any pedigree, they'll send you back a pedigree with no names on it but your dogs. You know, it's like it doesn't matter to them. You know, it's the books are open. Yeah. So for us, the stud books are not, and we carry the stud books to the breed. So for us, it's not an open.
All right. So from, you know, being a VP of a major registry and organization, it's kind of like being an entrepreneur and stuff. You know, we always kind of like look outside. I mean, look outside in and inside out of what we can do to improve our product, right? So with that being said, what is one thing that you feel that the ABKC can do better to improve the product and brand, and what measures are you guys taking to do that?
Wow. There's a lot of things.
I know there's a lot of things, but like, just we'll take it one step at a time. You know, like for me, it's like I had to learn how to hire better, right? Because I hired people in certain different ways, and it didn't fit the culture, and it fucked up a lot of shit. It was very costly and expensive, and it didn't meet the vision.
So right now, we're working on a back end, better ways to register your dogs. We're working on portals, where you'll be able to, you know, mostly on the registration end and on the ease of papers and transfer and online papers. We're trying to get up to speed with basically with the era of internet and phones, you know, to where everything can be done seamlessly through a device, through DocuSign, and through other methods, to where everything works and flows easier. Same with the show ring process. You know, with that, when we're working on systems where when things are put into the system, they'll automatically update with dogs, with points and different things. So I think there's a lot of areas we can have improvement, you know, as far as point tracking. Our website. Our website is a big thing. You know, we had lost our website due to updates, and our template couldn't be updated because it was old. So now we have this website that's pretty temporary right now. And so there's a lot of areas of improvement. Yeah. You know?
Well, when we talk about improvement, when, you know, AI will take a person's face and improve it, right, in so many different ways. Do you feel, this is the final question, do you feel like AI is actually going to improve the American Bully breed by helping breeders line pedigrees and shit, you know, that would say, hey, this will fucking work. This ain't going to work to get you towards your fucking goal.
I don't know who's developing that AI.
That would be cool, though.
But I'm sure.
I'm telling
but, you know,
dude, like, it's fucking crazy right now.
But right now, you'll have some AI telling you to do anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Dog, it's insane. Like, the more I get deeper into it, I'm just like, we're not even going to fucking know who we're even fucking talking to in the future.
Yeah. No, it's already there
crazy,
a lot of times.
Yeah.
I mean, the AI is just, wow.
It's insane.
It's endless. So just the thoughts. If you can think it, they can pretty much program it to make it do it, and that's pretty much where it's at.
Right now, I think a lot of people get in trouble with the AI stuff.
Yeah.
You know, because even like you got these chat GPT or whatever. You know, write me a book. You know, and then it's just plagiarizing stuff off the internet,
for sure.
Together to write you a book. You know, but how's that going to help you really? You know, write me a report. Everything it's doing is copying information.
Well, also at the same time, it is gonna, the next generation of people are gonna be common sense. Yeah, and they're not. Yeah, basically they're just gonna be fucking idiots because they're not gonna know how to do it themselves.
So right now it's gonna just search information online.
Yeah,
it's gonna be all right. Yeah, mix this dog and this dog, and that'll work. You know? Well, online I found that. Well, look, 3,000 people said to breed the Dax. So,
very true.
You know, so it's just going to be like, you know, AI. I think when it comes to breeding, maybe that's not so much, you know, but it's going to, you know, because it's just using the information that's online and available to it.
Right.
I think I can see it helping pedigrees and like paperwork and stuff like that and shit like that. I think it could, you know, streamline that for you guys for sure.
Yeah. No, we have stuff that's helping with that. As far as we actually had to have software made and programs made for that, you know. But there's no telling. The possibilities of AI are endless.
Yeah.
You know. It's all you know. So that's a whole new thing that's just crazy right now.
So new website soon, possibly online litter registrations or improved version of that.
Actually,
in the works.
Actual physical, where everyone has their own owner hubs. You know,
okay.
Everyone has their own portal.
Oh, nice.
Gotcha.
So it's So no, it's a lot in the works and all that stuff. It's been being developed now for a little while.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
You know, so there's a company. It's been a long process. You know, because it's, you know, we've had many trials and it's been going back and forth. But
But just being able to log in and like, oh, here's these litter registrations I need to sign, and just sign them all
they have
and digitally sign them.
pedigrees and PDFs and
My God.
things that are generated immediately, and just
That'd
be
be
able
great.
to transfer stuff immediately and do everything.
Register for shows more seamlessly. That'd be great.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. The possibilities are endless, but it's very expensive and time consuming because companies, you have to tell them every aspect, and then they don't quite get it.
Yeah, no,
it's a process.
I totally know where you're coming from when that comes to that shit.
You got to refocus.
Building and it's like we went actually changed hands like 3 different companies and everything because just not figuring it out. But I think this last one has it. But we'll see.
All right.
To understand what all is required in dogs and then showing and all these other things. So it can be tough.
Awesome.
It's not as cut as dry as people want to make it out to be.
No, everybody thinks stuff is easy, but you have to have. It's just like with anything. When you're building software, you have all these. You have to count every possible loophole and different things. And all right, if you pick this, it means this can't happen, and this, all the fail safes and everything. So it's a lot more work than everyone realizes, But you have to stop things from being able to come in and stop all the things that we don't allow. It's like at the same time we have to preserve the American bully.
Yeah.
And that's the number one thing. I mean, this here is if we don't do it, there definitely no one else that will, because no one else cares what gets registered as an American bully.
Fair enough.
Yep.
It is the ABKC's job.
Yep.
Protect the breed. So.
All right. Well, I think that's probably about it, right?
Yeah,
Any
man.
more questions?
Yeah, we
Megan?
pushed 2 hours on this one.
Yeah.
we are.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for coming on, man, and just being very transparent with our audience.
Yeah.
I think it's very important as far as like moving the breed forward. We're here. We support the ABKC, and whatever we can do to support you guys, let us know, man. I already said it. I said it on air. I'm gonna get a booth next time in Allentown. I'm gonna be boothing with Raj and staying at his fucking plantation up in VA, and so him and Dina.
Plantation?
West Virginia.
Hold up.
West Virginia.
Oh, okay.
I got some people up there.
I got empty kennels. Come on.
Hey, I know your empty kennels is like a fucking 5-star suite.
Yeah.
So like I'm not worried about that
There's some
shit.
cots in there, and probably some heaters and some fans.
I'll probably get 3 meals a day.
There's been times I look at that Coranda
You'll
bed and be
definitely
like,
get
I
your
could
own
probably
product.
sleep on that.
Massage.
you'll definitely-
What else would
Definitely
it?
get served some of your own
TV. Shit.
products. Some nice
Here's your
cars to
muscle
look
boy.
Say
at.
less.
Yeah,
Say
some
less.
nice,
Rod.
there's some nice cars to look at.
Yeah,
man.
great.
Shit.
And-
car went on everything.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
All the Uber Eats I want.
You can take the truck.
But yeah, man, close us out, Zach.
All right, man. We appreciate everybody
All right, guys,
tuning
thank
in.
you guys. Appreciate you.
Hell yeah, this is a good time.
Appreciate it.
Talk to y'all soon.